Hello and welcome to today's No FOMO Charts live stream. Today is Sunday, December 11th, 2022. It's almost 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time at night. So let's go ahead and get started here. We have a big week ahead of us for stocks. So let me bring up my watch list. The weekly watch list is going to be very bright here. So let me zoom in here. So this week with the stock market, we have big news out of the Federal Reserve, the FOMC press conference, federal funds rate, the interest rate, economic projections, and the statement coming out on Wednesday. On Tuesday, we have the CPI data, so the consumer inflation data. Thursday, we have the retail sales and some unemployment claims, the manufacturing index. And then Friday, we have the flash services PMI data release. So the biggest news of the entire week for the stock market is going to be the FOMC, Federal Reserve interest rate, and the subsequent market reaction to that. In addition, we have some stock earnings. We have ORCL, Mesa Air Group, Lennar, Adobe, and Darden Restaurants, in addition to more companies. And in terms of crypto news, FTX Crypto Exchange and ex-CEO SBF is testifying before the USA House of Representatives on December 13th, and there will be a second hearing regarding the full list of creditors released on Friday. So that will most likely make news in the crypto space. Let's go and get started here. S&P 500. So S&P 500, what's been going on here? S&P 500, the talk of last week, we hit the top of our resistance, as I was saying. So if we happen to break bull, these were our targets. The market did not break bull. It hit the resistance, had an evening star pattern go down, rejection down. So now this resistance pivot point of 409 crashed down to our support, tested the support, and now we're stuck under the support. So the market's setting up for the FOMC meeting. Now, someone might ask, okay, well, what about this whole rally? Yes, this whole rally is stock market earnings and people's forward forecast of the 50-point basis interest rate increase that will happen on Tuesday and Wednesday. However, the market language and what the FOMC chairman Jerome Powell is going to say is a little bit more important than the number, in my opinion, because everyone kind of is anticipating the number of 50-point basis interest rate increase, but it's more about the duration. So not the size of the increase, it's more about the duration. How long do we have to go more? So is it going to be a dovish speech or a hawkish speech? That's what, and the duration and any other extra information and data. So we have this support gap under here, 380 to about 387. We broke below our rising wedge. So we have a double resistance, a resistance at 410. And then we have a trend line resistance here at about $400. So this is our two spots where the market reversed down. The market did have bearish momentum. And for several streams, I was saying we have bearish momentum. So this is that pullback that occurred. So something to just watch out for. On the weekly, we had the gap down on the weekly. Oops, excuse me. Large, very loud alarm. So we have the weekly gap down, right? And it's not quite a shooting star, but still a gap down. So just want to watch out for that. Will the FOMC and will the market participants, because we do have a little bit of this, you can see here, there's a double top on the MACD histogram and the RSI as well on the weekly. So it's end of the year. People are thinking about recession, inflation, etc. So it's still a big deal, even though the market priced in the 50-point basis point hike rate increase. Now it's more about, are we actually going to go into recession or not? So we're holding above the 390. Is it going to be a soft landing or hard landing, etc.? So we have our support level. I'm just going to leave it here at 385. And we just want to make sure this is not going to turn into a head and shoulders, because that once we lose the neckline of 392, then it would be a head and shoulders. So in the bearish scenario, if this is true, it could be up to 5% downtrend over time. It could be up to. Extremely bad case, if everything crashes hard in recession, we're going back to 2022 October lows, 351. Hopefully that doesn't happen. We're finding support above our 50, 100 EMAs right now, which is 390. Still in the uptrend, but still consolidating. You can see the price is just going sideways. That's not a healthy trend at all. It's just going sideways, literally. So just want to watch out for that this coming week. Let's go to QQQ. NASDAQ. Hello, welcome everybody on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch. So QQQ, let's get this right here on the day chart. All right, so rolling over the S&P 500 technical analysis. This could have been our upside down hidden shoulders. We didn't quite go the 10% because the market data and the economy is not quite ready to go that high yet. But we are holding right above the neckline, 280. 280 is our support level. I'm just going to leave that there. So for me, when I see this chart, as soon as we lose 280, test it, and we downtrend, then I'm going to probably short that, right? Probably short this down. For example, this is what I'm doing. This is not financial advice, right? Once we lose that, probably initiate a short if it closes for 1 or 2, 3, several days below that, because the gap support target down here is 273, right? Decent day trade opportunities for that. But if the market reaction is bullish and dovish message, then we could definitely bounce one more time back up to 296, possibly to 300 to 310, the gap resistance on the upside. Okay, so it's not completely over for the market, except we are finding some resistance here in this particular range between 295 and 279. So we want to watch out for that. It's just barely riding the EMAs to the upside, but it's not quite broken up yet. Dow Jones, a different beast of a chart. So we had our rally. If you look carefully on the bottom yellow line, we lost that trend line, evening star pattern, and we hit our EMA support targets that I was calling out last stream just 1 week ago, saying what could the support levels be if we pull back. We're going to test one of these EMAs. It's 341. We hit that target on 2 days later or 3 days later, or the next day later. And then we had a little bounce. And then could be a start of a downtrend, 334, right? Just not take into account the FOMC statements yet, but it could be a downtrend formation if this does not recover. Meaning, if we don't hold above 334, this could go straight down to 328 or 323. Okay, because low, high, lower, low, probably lower, high, lower, low, and then probably get stuck here at 323 because bulls really want to defend this level. We don't want to lose the 200 EMA on the daily, because then that would mean this whole rally is not sustainable. So people often ask me online are we going to rally into next year? What's going to happen with crypto? Is Bitcoin going to rally? Is it going to crash? Is it going to moon? Well, one scenario, if it's bearish to the downside, we want to watch out for this in the blue circle, okay? Because we already had a bull reaction rally. So if we top out and it pulls back and we can't recover, if we have more bad news, it'll most likely pull back significantly, all the way down to possibly 310, maybe even 300, before we can get set up for another bounce. However, if the news is bullish, we might be able to just hold above the 323 level, have a nice and easy next couple 3-6 months of rally. It's definitely possible. So definitely watching out for those 3 charts. Take a quick look here at USO. If you have a request, just let me know. I'll do a few requests at the end of the stream. Let me refresh the chat box just to make sure. Okay, US oil. So US oil, I remember saying this on the last stream, is watch out for these EMA resistances, right? Because every time we hit the resistance, I said this on Bitcoin, but it applies to this chart as well. It's this really ugly chart, so I'll just erase it. But every time we hit a resistance on USO, we have flush down. Resistance, flush down. Rally, flush down. Almost breakout, flush down. Hitting our 50 EMA resistance, flush down. So very obvious what's happening here. The bears, every single time it happens, that's their bread and butter setup for the bears and the puts for US oil. Watching our resistance here on the top side. The only good news for this chart on the daily is almost oversold on the RSI, and we hit the 62.75 level, which is a previous level of support liquidity. So that's why it's hesitating there for now. This is not the final stop on the way down, but it is turning into this very large, almost descending triangle, right? Because over the weekend, what happened, there was news about the Chinese president meeting, China meeting Saudi Arabia regarding oil. So that could explain this whole dump right here. So now this almost looks like a strange old gold chart, but there is some momentum building, but it's still in the weekly pullback, right? We are not, if I look at this chart, we are not uptrending on oil. It is actually consolidating to the side, flagging possible weekly head and shoulders. On a bearish scenario, if we lose this support of $63, the measured move to the downside could be grave, could be 20 to 40% down over time, perhaps 1 to 2 years. So that's a very, very long-term outlook on US oil. So this is one of those no FOMO mentalities of, if it's just like Bitcoin, because Bitcoin had a similar incident happen where it was in a huge uptrend, and once we lost that, the trend line here, I'll show you later, is then it was game over for Bitcoin in terms of the uptrend. It was over. So definitely want to watch out for that. Make sure we don't get cut, no bulls get too caught up in this in terms of trying to play at something like this, like a 62, and wondering why they keep getting stopped out is because the setup is there for that dump to occur. Okay, UNG also had a dump just because the crash hit our resistance here on November 25th, right after Thanksgiving in America. And it was a little bit too extended on shorter term time frames. We had a nice pullback for bears, went a little bit down to the downside where I marked it, this $16, $17 area, and a rally back up to test the wedge. This is textbook technical analysis that's happening. Textbook. This is the first support that it got lost in 1940. This is $17.50 and then $16 down here. If I pull up a Fibonacci, let's see if this $16, where does it line up on the Fibos? Right there, 786. I'm not the only one using Fibonacci on this chart. I am not the only one. So bounced off straight up almost to a 618, a little hanging man hammer right here at $19 with the gap fill. This is definitely the oversold intraday bounce. Yes, the 1 hour. Okay, the 1 hour had its bounce, 15-minute. Looking like a little bit of bearish divergence, a little bit of bearish double top action happening on the price. Not quite on the RSI yet, but it's starting to set up. So just really want to watch out for these two. Not get too excited about any particular move and not try to buy anything in the middle, because this is falling knife action right here in the middle. That's very dangerous for trading attempts. So where the resistance targets, if it breaks bull $20 up here, try to hit our 618, and then maybe we're trying to, it looks like it's trying to hit a lower high, but maybe before it pulls back down to 18 or possibly down to 16, maybe we'll get a double bottom. But at the same time, I just want to watch out for that UNG stock going into this week. Okay, we're about halfway right now. Let's switch over to cryptocurrencies. Let's actually do one more just because it's on earnings. Adobe right here. We'll do two more. We'll do Oracle and Adobe. Forgot about the earnings last week, but to announce it to people. But Oracle, we had a nice higher low. We hit our target, breakout, hit the resistance target. So this looks almost exactly the same as the S&P 500 chart. So tracking very, very closely. If I put this trend line, there's that downside target, which would match up with the horizontal support line at $74 on this side. So Oracle sometimes, if you go plus or minus 10%, this is a very high volatility if it has bad earnings. So you just want to watch out for that. That's that downside target 74. And if it happens to have a bullish reaction, let's see, where would our measure move? Be about $87, 10% to the upside. So just pointing that out. But Oracle had a very interesting oversold setup. Not the most popular technology stock in the world, but here it is. This is textbook reversal. Textbook reversal right there. We can rewind to COVID charts to learn more about that if you want to find out more information about that. Okay, Adobe, ADBE, they make video editing, Photoshop, Premiere, Audition. There's so many programs by Adobe used by students and creative professionals all around the world. Hitting our gap resistance, this sort of reminds me a little bit of the Netflix chart where we have this yellow in the line here, right? We had this beautiful multiple bottom on the bottom of the yellow and bounced up. But you can see Adobe still in the long-term downtrend, just like the rest of the market, basically. Still in the long-term downtrend. Just want to watch out for that because why? We have a double top here. We have a double top. And when I say watch out, that doesn't mean be fearful. It just means be cautious of FOMO. Because sometimes when people see these charts, when they go up, and I'll write it down, point B versus point A, okay, in terms of the circles. Point A versus point B. If someone is a very disciplined bull long trader, investor, anybody who bought down here in September, October got some good value. If anybody's trying to buy now, it's basically maybe. Maybe it might go up, maybe it might go down. This stock for sure is depending on the earnings. But why am I saying that to say watch out? Is because if somebody just randomly buys here tomorrow, if they have bad earnings, it could crash down past their stop loss all the way down to the 286 level, and they'll be stopped out. So that would be an instant losing trade in a day. Sometimes even 5 minutes. Right, that's what I'm saying. It depends if somebody's a day trader, if they're trying to scalp it, if they're trying to swing trade it, if they're trying to invest to get and scaling to Adobe for an investment over the next 5 years. It's a totally different strategy. So hopefully Adobe has some decent earnings, but the breakout spot would be right above 350. So if it breaks out above 350 and holds above 355, there actually might be a shot. There might be a chance. Okay, so those are the two levels that we're looking at. All right, let's move over to crypto. Cryptocurrency. So TOTAL market cap. This is the large crypto index that includes Bitcoin and the altcoins. So the big news with crypto this week is on Tuesday, FTX ex-CEO SBF, his initials, is going to testify before the House of Representatives. And those people, those senators are going to grill him with questions pretty hard. It's probably going to be in the morning, daytime, depending on your time zone. I'm going to try to watch that. Well, I'm going to try to watch it live if I can. So they're going to ask him some pressing questions, and it's going to kind of reveal a little bit more information about that. So if you're heavily interested in crypto trading or investing, at least maybe check out those headlines afterwards this week. So we're still in the long-term downtrend in crypto. Still in the long-term downtrend. The only good thing is we hit above, again, this nice support above 750 billion. We are barely hanging on with that support level because there is actually a descending triangle formation. It's very obvious on the charts. That is 8 months in the making. So the two levels that I'm staring at right now on this chart is if we happen to bounce up to 900 billion, that would be great for Bitcoin and altcoins, get a little momentum bounce going on. But if we lose 750 billion, right? Because if we try to rally and it doesn't, and it hits 750, we lose that, then the downtrend dump is going to be very strong. Most likely, you'll get just like a huge red line in the crypto because everyone probably has their stop loss. If any disciplined trader just bought this here, for example, their stop loss is right here at 717. Let me make it smaller. Actually, it doesn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying. Is this? There's a lot of people's hidden stop losses right under here in this range. So if a market maker, all they have to do is just short it down and then just kick everybody out of their positions. So it could definitely happen. So something to watch out for. The downside, if we measure the move, let's be conservative, 25% here. Even at a conservative target, that's still 560 billion to the downside. So there's a long-term view. We're not on any oversold dump area for value. It's floating in the middle. When it's floating in the middle, I personally usually don't even touch those unless there's some catalyst. If there's fuel in the news to fire this up and get this out of here, of course I would long that, but hasn't happened yet. Bitcoin USD, very, very similar chart, not quite exactly the same. But Bitcoin's still in the long-term downtrend for 1 year now. Because I've been talking to some colleagues this weekend, is if we think about it, we have been in a bear market downtrend for 1 year straight, basically, at least 6 months to 9 months straight. But it's been 1 year, basically, since the top of the crypto market. So, are we at the bottom yet? We're getting closer, much, much closer. Okay, I'm not going to say this is the exact bottom, but from top to bottom, 74% down from the high, it's getting pretty close. It obviously, Bitcoin could crash another 20, 30%, and we'll get 90% off Bitcoin. That is definitely possible. We're getting closer though. That's why I'm not losing hope. I'm not losing faith. Once the FTX lawsuit and hearings are over and that's 100% completed, or everyone knows what's going on with that, a couple of exchanges need to increase their transparency. People need to reassure that everything's okay, get the psychology, make sure everything on the regulations on the back end and the company is good, the financials are clean, and get a little reset going on in the crypto market and crypto trading space. We need that. We need that. And then we need to see that reflected in the price action. Also, if you're living in North America or Europe, we're obviously heavily affected by inflation. So not everybody has discretionary income to keep pumping into crypto. So meaning people just don't have leftover money right now to just buy a ton of crypto and stocks. People are trying to buy food and groceries and gas fuel because of inflation. So that's also, we might not see a turnaround until inflation numbers really come down for several months, just like probably what the FOMC chairman is going to say on Tuesday, Wednesday. They need to see sustained evidence of downward progression of inflation before, and then people, and the labor market as well, and people start making and saving more money over time, and then we might see a reversal of people actually buying. For now, not happening that much. Altcoins are a different story. If there's a little penny coin out there that's rallying 500% or 50%, that always happens. Or that usually happens. Once a year, there's some big play, and it's beautiful, right? If we're able to catch that. I'm talking about the big players. I'm talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin, the top 5, the top 10. I'm talking about the big market cap coins here. So, our 15,700 is our support level. Not quite a perfect descending triangle yet. It's more this descending wedge. So for me to call this a breakout, for me to get excited about this, is this price needs to break out to 20, pull back to 18, hold there or above 17, and blast off to 25. That would be the most beautiful reversal rally Bitcoin has ever seen. Just like the Oracle chart. If you rewind the stream, what did Oracle do? Higher high, higher low, and then wow. Stock earnings were amazing. The stock market is great, and they rallied out of there. Same thing with Bitcoin. We need that with cryptos. If it doesn't happen, it's not going up. Literally not going up. Because people have to bid up the price. They need to buy. And people are not buying right now as much as they used to be compared to 4 years ago. So again, where is our support level? 15,700. Hopefully this turns to a little baby head and upside down head and shoulders. We'll get a nice measure move going on of 10%. Could be beautiful. Right at that $19,000 resistance. So we'll watch out for that. But the inverse is also true. We can also see okay, it's losing momentum. If it doesn't bounce, probably going down to about 14,000, this lower 14,000 range. So now our crypto line in the sand is 15,000. The bulls are saying we do not want to lose 15,000. Bears are saying the exact opposite. They want to crush it below 15,000 and stop everybody out. In the short term, however, I know we have some day traders here. We just had a little bit of a dump here, a little 5-minute overbought to our crash down to our oversold level. And this is what I mean by it. Will this turn to a little 15-minute upside down head and shoulders overnight of 3% volatility plus or minus? Something to think about. Depends on one's perspective. Let's go to Ethereum. FUSD. Go a little faster here. So Ethereum bouncing off of that trendline support right above 1072, which happens to be a 786 Fibonacci level for the past 2 years. Powerful level. If it happens to bounce up, we could immediately hit 1500. We could see that progression happening. It's eking out, pending. It's hoping. The market is saying, please let there not be bad news. No more bad news. We don't want bad news. Okay. And then that's what the market, this is telling me right here. So if we can hold the higher low, we can have a nice bounce up to 1525. And if we continue up, the fifth wave of that Elliott wave would reach about $2,000. Ethereum could be beautiful trade. But there are some disciplined traders and the people who are using algos to trade or automated trading is there's probably a lot of stop losses right under here. That's what I mean. 67% stop loss right at 1,000. Probably if somebody's wants an easy stop loss right at $1,000, 8% stop loss. That's not that hard for market makers to try to push it down there. So there is a 3-to-1 play, or there was one. If we buy now, it's more like a 2-to-1 play. I do like this here in the weekly RSI in terms of maybe that'll turn to upside down head and shoulders. If we can establish our weekly higher low, could be wonderful for bulls on the uptrend rally. 4 hours, very tight, very tight. Let me bring up a Bollinger Band just to see. Tightening up here on the 4 hour. Little Bollinger Band squeeze coming along here, if you know what that is. A big volatility squeeze here. Possible. It's holding above, I just lost it, but it was holding right above our EMAs. Tightened, hit the bottom of that BB band. A little oversold, so we could see another dump in the Asia session. It's just starting right now. On the European session overnight, get a little dump going on, consolidation, a little uptrend rally in the USA market tomorrow. That's one scenario. It's possible. So just something to think about. Watch out for that. Want to be mindful. Binance Coin holding a interesting possible reversal pattern. Binance in the news I saw yesterday about Binance Exchange was that they need to kind of quote unquote clear up the air, so to speak, in terms of maybe the reserve exchange fund. They might have to do a little bit to kind of calm everybody down about the FTX fallout with that rippled all across the world, right? But Binance might not be the only exchange that has to do that. I think all crypto exchanges have to kind of reassure their customers, send that message out, do the due diligence, and show the financial proof that everything actually is okay. Then people might be less fearful during this time or less anxiety. So we might have a ascending triangle. If it holds above this 271 level, could be wonderful in terms of establishing that higher low. Then the target would be 336. If I happen to randomly buy right now, random educational example, stop loss below this previous candle, which is a very large stop loss, 12%. So I have to downsize that capital to only maybe 25% of the total position size. So the risk management is there. And then if depending on your exchange, or if you're even trading on TradingView console, I mean the orders on the right side here, could be a 2-to-1 play for an investor, right? With a small amount of capital, 2-to-1 play. But it's not the exact perfect spot to buy because it's not at a relative support level or anything. It's not really overbought. It's not really oversold. on this 4 hour. 1 hour it is. 1 hour it is. The 50-minute probably going to see a bounce, right? In the short term, probably going to see this thing try to rally up to 288 and then get rejected back down or break out. So watching it very closely. But I don't want to get too negative, but going sideways is good. At least you get something, right? You get a little triple bottom here, a little rally. There are trades here. If you understand support, resistance, trend, and use some tools or indicators or some strategies, and if somebody really watches the price, and I'm talking about if somebody's a very active analyst or a trader and you have your trading view open all day long just on the side of your computer or on your phone, and sometimes you just have to visually see something, right? Oh, this is going up, buy. Oh, this is going sideways, buy with a stop loss. And this is buy with a stop loss at this low or at this low. And sometimes it happens in your time zone, sometimes it doesn't. So that's crypto trading for you. If you have a request, just let me know in the chat box. I'm gonna end very soon. But we can take a just visual look at some of these cryptos again. This is what I do on the weekends. Just get a visual of what's going on in the markets. Altcoins finding this little double bottom here on this price. Very interesting, right above 440 billion. The Bitcoin dominance, a little double bottom, trying to hold this higher low. We might see an uptrend here. Or not a real uptrend, but a little bull rally. Hello, welcome. I'm good. How are you? Welcome, everybody. XRP. Okay, so let's take a long-term approach on XRP first. Let me use a different chart because we need more data on XRP. Maybe use it. Let me see. Let me try an old one like Bitfinex. Okay, I like the Bitstamp one because it goes all the way back to 2013. So you have almost 9 years of data here. That's why it's very important to find a good chart, not just the one that has like 1 year of data. We'll look at gold afterwards. Okay, XRP USD. First off, we must understand that XRP was delisted from certain US exchanges about 3 years ago. That's why you don't really hear me talking about it that much anymore. But if it's legal and listed in your country, here we go. XRP on the weekly stuck inside of a large parallel channel here going sideways. That large resistance point at about 320, the bottom is 11 cents. And since the double top area, the double zone, we're down about negative 75%. So if we Fibonacci, let's say from the pandemic, this is the pandemic low right in the middle of this little parallel channel here, riding that 0.88 retrace perfectly, the 0.88 right there. That's the line in the sand. Everybody's stop loss is right below that. If somebody went long here and they're trying to, not FOMO, but if they're trying to HODL, HODL, if they're trying to hold right here at 31 cents, you can guarantee people's stop losses are all in this area. So what needs to happen is Bitcoin needs to go up because there's a death cross here in XRP on the weekly. That is not good. It's still under here on the daily with the potential descending triangle. So, unfortunately, this is not the greatest chart setup. It's not uptrending, it's downtrending. The only thing here, the positive thing I can say about XRP in the long term is it's holding above support. So it needs to hold above 30 cents and never drop down below that for 6 months or 1 year. Then you might get a rally. If it rallies, it would be beautiful because this measured move, XRP, 80 to 90% would be wonderful. That's what people are wanting to see. Let's go to 75 cents. That's what people are thinking. So until it breaks out above the 200 EMA, I would say probably 45. We want to watch out that it's not just going to crash down like Ethereum to 30. If we lose 30 cents, it would be big trouble, big trouble. So you just want to watch out for those two levels. I'll mark it here for next time if you want to look at it next time. Thank you for the follow. Okay, I'll go in order of the request. Somebody's requesting gold on YouTube, so we'll do gold, and then we'll do Atom. Crypto. All right. So gold, let me just erase some of this. GLD here, we had a nice triple bottom above 150. Nice triple bottom. And a breakout of the trend line as well. So there were two setups here on gold in the past. If we just rewind for a second, there's that setup and then there's the breakout. So same thing with some cryptos. If it's just holding down here, that's good. And then once we see a little breakout, that's really good. Sometimes the breakouts can fail, like this breakout failed here a long time ago when we did it 5 months ago, 4 months ago. But when it's real, you get a nice big pop up to the upside. So gold is, in terms of somebody's just trying to trade this thing, GLD, is yes, there was nice weekly momentum. The daily, however, because of the correlations going on right now with the market, it looks like a little bit inverse correlation. Don't quote me on that. But you know what I mean, is the Dow Jones crashed, whereas gold kind of went up a little bit more, but there's immediate support right above 164. Now, if you want to estimate, get some estimates, we can use a Fibonacci extension tool and try to just see where some hidden levels up here, like a hidden extension 618 is 170. So that could be another target. A full retracement to the upside would be 177. The nice thing is gold's starting to break out. I mean, it already broke out right here at the 157 level out of its downtrend. So this is what I'm saying. Bitcoin needs to see like this happening as well. But for gold, I would say if somebody's trying to hodl this for a while, just be a little bit careful, because if I just randomly buy right now, it could drop 3% all the way down to 10%. So the question is somebody willing to hold through that volatility down? And if it does happen to fall down, what are we going to do with the stop loss? Are we going to refill? Are we going to add more down here? Those are questions that a trader has to kind of ask themselves before they enter the trade first. But the immediate support is 165. That's our line in the sand right now. In terms of uptrending, great. It's uptrending in the 1 hour. It's uptrending in the 4 hour. Looking a little bit like a Dow Jones setup. So these are all our emergency support levels down here, 165, 162, and 160. And those would be levels to try to defend as a bull. We're trying to psychologically defend the breakout. If it fails, it's okay. In terms of that's what happens in the market. Is it an oversold play right now? No, it's more of an uptrending play right now. Thank you so much, Gold Cartel. Thank you so much, Gold Cartel, for the 100 coins. Really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. Thank you for donating and following. It's really helping me and the stream, keep the stream going and the ideas flowing. I hope you have hope everyone has a happy holiday this month. It's almost if you celebrate Christmas, almost Christmas. If you celebrate other holidays, it's coming around the corner. And we also have New Year's as well. So with GLD, we just want to defend those areas. And again, it's not quite oversold in terms of RSI down here. It's more of a support play. Meaning, can we buy the dip? Maybe. Hopefully this dip right here at 163 will be your support. So, all right, let's go next one. I think somebody was asking for Atom. Thank you so much, Gold Cartel. I really appreciate everything. Atom USDT. Atom Cosmos. I remember trading Cosmos a lot. There's actually more data than this. There we go. There's some exchanges have way more than 2019, but I'm not going to go dig for that right now. But April 2019, I kind of remember this listing on Coinbase. So Atom, so please remember on the daily, just like Bitcoin, we are still in the downtrend. Still in the downtrend. Now, what good that can happen here is if we hold our support level, if the price can hold it right above 850, that would be very nice for Atom because it needs to hold somewhere. The price needs to hold somewhere so it stops dropping. 0.88, hit the 618, right below the 786. So it's actually in a resistance. It's stuck under the resistance. We're just putting a little blue box here for next time. It's stuck between this box. 10%. If it breaks out 10% above 786, it'll probably go even 20%. But 10% right here at 1153. That's the target. Right here. 10% to the downside. Where's that target? So why do I always do this? Is to just prepare ahead of time. So if this thing dumps and crashes on me, I already kind of know generally, all right, maybe buy a little bit at 755. If it goes all the way down to $6, that's probably the oversold range, the retest down here, the resistance range. All right, but the correlations are very strong because if we look at this price chart and go to Bitcoin, it looks very similar. It looks almost the same. So Bitcoin needs to kind of be our leader, relative strength leader in the crypto market, and this thing needs to hold, and we might get a bounce. But because of the FTX crypto hearings, basically a lawsuit right now is want to watch out for that Tuesday and Friday. So hopefully that made sense to you. If it didn't, I'll visually put this up here on the screen. Is if somebody randomly buys here, their stop loss is 860 or 630 stop loss is very, very huge. That's like 40% down. So this is a very small position managed capital trade. But if it happens to rally, that'll be like 100%. So really almost every crypto probably has this line in the sand psychology, 870. Hope that helps. Okay, we have a request from TradingView. FUV is being shorted. Okay, let's check that out. I know there's some hot stocks like Carvana, right? Oh, RC Moto, okay. Like Carvana, right, was all up in the news last week. Even on Jim Cramer's show on CNBC, I was watching that. Okay, so when I see something like this, a lot of things come to my mind. All right, so what is this? It's a motor vehicles company. Look at the volume. Relatively small volume. Shares float's only 2 million. It's a $4 stock. It's almost like, it's not quite a penny stock, but it's like a very small low cap stock. Low cap stock that's getting shorted. So, really large account traders like to really short this stuff down. And then sometimes the Reddit crowd, the Wall Street Bet crowd, they like to try to attempt to short squeeze stuff. But I would say caution. Why? Because it's very low float, very small size. It's like a small crypto, very small volume as well. So let me check some data on this stock. All right, so it could move about $1.40 a day. So this has extreme volatility of 30% moves potential a day. So this is all about capital management, meaning only risk 1% of one's total account on one trade, 1% loss only as the maximum dollar loss per trade. Because if somebody were to make a mistake and all in this 3 months ago, they lost all their money. So these types of stocks, there's a reason why I don't really show everybody these types of stocks. But if you're an advanced trader or intermediate, there could be a day trading opportunity if somebody's into that. But the volume is very, very low. It's only less than 100,000, less than 200,000. So to give you an idea, if you switch over to let's say Apple, the volume is 76 million with the 15 billion share float. It still moves, but we're not getting 30% moves, right? The volume here is 170,000 total. So something to be very careful for. Now, depending on the direction somebody's trying to do, with all that being said, it's inside the NASDAQ. So it's tracking, it's not tracking QQQ, but on the day trading side, like on a 1 minute, 5 minute at market open, 9:30 a.m., it might track it very, very closely. Usually some algorithms and bots are all over these types of little small, the smaller companies. It is in the oversold range, but however, weekly is oversold quite a bit as well. So let's just theorize that if the Wall Street bet crowd might target this one day, or just if something positive catalyst happens, then sure, this thing could bounce up, maybe at least back to $7. The MACD is open, but there's not huge histogram momentum here. They did have a stock split recently as well. So it's just I would be aware of these types of stocks. I'm just saying, because it's still in the downtrend, right? So if anybody's trying to long this thing, it's still angling very sharply down. Still angling very sharply down. And this is not to offend anybody's request. It's just, we know this thing is going down a lot and it's lost a lot of value. So this company has been having major problems, maybe merger and acquisition or some corporate financial problems. And this is what happens after the earnings, right? But in terms of anyone shorting this or put option this, it already had its opportunity after the earnings on November 14, which was almost 1 month ago. So this is getting shorted very, very hard to the downside. Now, in terms of very short-term plays, if I was I would never try to scalp this personally. I don't really personally trade things under a certain level of size, but it is oversold. At some point, you might get a little bounce. But is this thing going back up to $10? I would say it has to be. That's determined by fundamentals, the news of what's happening with this company. So I would say please be very careful with these kinds of companies. Stop loss is 100% needed with small amount of capital to protect one's trading account. Very, very definitely needed. So somebody could attempt to do something like this. And if it blows past that, great. But if it keeps getting shorted down, that's no surprise to me. It's a very, very small company. And the fact that it did not rally with the NASDAQ just shows this company, sorry to say, is in a hard downtrend. Also, the opening volume on the 2 minutes, there's almost non-existent. So I'll be very, very careful with this type of company. Okay. Let me do one more because I don't want to leave it on that one, but on such a negative note. So let's go back. Let's go back to, thank you for the follow. Let's go back to the S&P 500. Okay, actually we'll end on QQQ because that's related to that last example, NASDAQ. So again, if we just look at the NASDAQ here on the left side, the NASDAQ itself bounced. So the larger tech stocks, they all bounced and they're holding above the support level. So we just want to watch out. Great, I'm glad that helped you. Great, thank you for the request, for watching. So QQQ, all right, QQQ is not crashing down yet, but if we lose that support of 279, we could see a downtrend occur over time. So bad case scenario, we downtrend, lose all 2022 levels down to 240. A bull case is, or realistically, it might short down a little bit more to that 275 range, and then the traders are all gonna fight for it right here. The bulls versus the bears. They don't want it to go down or it's gonna go up, right? You're gonna see that kind of action. If it's gonna hold and bounce, if we have some kind of dovish reaction to FOMC, this thing could bounce up to 300. So let's mark those 3 spots for next time. All right, that's gonna do it for today's TA Charts Analysis live stream. Thank you everybody for watching live on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. I also have a Discord group. So if you want to follow on any of those platforms and donate, would be greatly appreciated to help the stream going and keep the ideas flowing every week. And again, I hope everybody has a nice holiday month. And I will be back next week. Wait, let me see. I will be back next Sunday night And probably I'm not going to stream on Christmas Day. So I'm going to do a stream maybe on some other time. I'll announce it next week, but I'll return on Sunday the 18th at nighttime. So thanks so much, and happy trading, and see you next time. Bye-bye.